All right, microphone check. Yes, this is looking good. All right, guys, it's time for another recording. This time I'm going to stick to the live format. It kind of forces me to, not to constantly restart and re-record and re-edit stuff. It puts you into a nice corner where you just have to deliver the content. And today we have a lot of material to cover. We're going to specifically focus on the announced building contest that has already started actually on the 2nd of February, going until the 2nd of March. So we have just over 3 weeks to come up with cool submissions for an area of Decentraland, which is called Etherea. And unless you are a total OG that has been in Decentraland for like 2 or 3 years, you are probably not 100% familiar with all of the district names, where are they, located, what they represent, what the original plan was. And I have to be honest, I am also not familiar with all of these districts. So for me, it's an exciting opportunity today actually to just, dig into one of these districts and see where we are actually supposed to deploy these newly created assets that are part of this contest. But before we start with the first bit of content, I do want to check on the vitals of this stream. Quickly gonna check on my phone if we are actually live, if everything is working. Yes, this seems to be looking all right. So let's just move on. There is one person watching already, so if you have an opportunity to just type something into the chat, if the audio and the video is fine for you, that would be great. In the meantime, let's move on to the agenda. So I just put down a couple of points that I would like to cover. So first of all, let's go through the contest blog post and the announcement real quick. Let's just read the conditions, how to apply, how to submit the builds, and just the whole framework around this competition. Then I want to quickly have a look at the location of the actual district Etherea. And moving on, I will check out the actual project page. I would like to see what was originally planned for this district. And I think this will give us a pretty good idea on how to build for that project. And also I want to touch on the cyberpunk genre in the first place, because I know many of you are like totally comfortable with the expression cyberpunk. I was kind of new-ish to it, so I had to look up a couple of examples, and I want to pull those up. And then of course we want to have another quick look at the cyberpunk assets that we have now available inside Decentraland. I think we had two little videos yesterday that looked at a couple of assets. I think today we're gonna have a look at a larger set in world again. And I also want to quickly touch on the older gallery asset pack that was made available to us in the previous competition, because I think this time around we are going to combine the two of those to make something really special. And then again, just at the end, I quickly want to touch on how to participate and how to build and how this whole thing will work. So there's a lot of material to cover. Let's see how much of each section we can go through. And let's just start with the blog post. So I think all of you have seen this blog post. It's currently pinned to the Decentraland Twitter account. And let's just have a look. So in collaboration with the Etherea project, Decentraland is holding the Cyberpunk Builder Contest. Okay, we understand that. Kicking off February 2nd, all right. You'll create cool cyberpunk themed stuff for the Etherea district. Okay, we get that. And you have a month time to flex your creative muscle. Okay, this is all pretty straightforward. So now here they're talking about, how the genre is supposed to look like. So Blade Runner style. They describe, a killer virus ravages the earth and all of that stuff. Kind of reminds me of the current situation on our planet. And one important correction that I have to make, that actually said something incorrectly in one of the previous videos. The developer of these asset packs was KG Walker and Dabcraft, and it was commissioned by the Etherea district. And I think I incorrectly stated that before, saying that Dabcraft commissioned that to KJ Walker. So this is not accurate. So there are two teams that have put this asset pack together based on this blog post. So I think we all know both of these teams, very cool people. KJ Walker has already, built the gallery asset pack, which was a huge success. So I think that's good stuff. So how to submit your scene? So the process is the same. You build your scene inside the Builder tool inside Decentraland, and then you publish it to the scene pool. So you don't publish it to your personal land, you publish it to the scene pool, and then you copy that link from that scene pool and use that link when you fill out this form here. This form has 4 questions. It's your email address, your name, your Ethereum address, and then the final question is the actual link to the asset inside the pool. Now, what is not mentioned here is actually how large the scene can be. I just sent out a tweet to Decentraland asking for if there's any limitation of on the size. Let's see if they actually reply anything to this. And also, one other person asked how many different scenes can be submitted. Now, from the experience in the previous contest, you can submit more than one scene. I've seen one person submitting 3 different scenes at the same time. So I think if the rules are the same and if there is no particular statement here that changes anything on the general understanding of the rules, you can submit as many scenes as you want. And I think that is desirable. If your scenes are of high quality, you should be able to submit all of them. So this is that. And now I think in terms of size, I think they would accept almost any kind of size. And honestly speaking, I have some difficulties to imagine that some people could build like a 6x6 scene that is of high quality just for a contest, because this will be a lot of work and you have like 28 days left or something. So, I think if they haven't mentioned a specific size, you can probably go with any size. And now the prices are $2,500. This is quite a nice price actually. And second place, $1,500. It's interesting that this time around they don't quote it in mana, they quote it in US dollars, as the mana price is currently a little bit quote unquote unstable and just mooning like crazy. But 50 of all of the creations will be actually deployed in the Etherea district. So if you are, just happy to publish your stuff in a district, you pretty much win in any case. I think we will not reach 50 submissions. It's possible considering the experience with the previous competition. There were a lot of submissions, so we could reach 50. But I think high quality builds, it's probably going to be maximum 50. This is a big number, but let's see. And you have to understand that this is, of course, a contest for us, and we have the opportunity to win something. But the district itself and Decentraland itself are definitely benefiting from us building assets for this particular district. And I'm going to show you why. Is usually I try to tell things how they are while trying to stay positive and constructive, but sometimes you do need to point out a couple of details. And but before we go there, where is that district actually, right? I had no idea that you call that bit here the Aetheria district. This is a huge piece of land in the top right corner of the map. Considering that this is a cyberpunk themed area of the map and it's that big, this is supposed to be the main attraction of Decentraland, right? Here it is, Etherea. So here is another way of looking at it. You guys are familiar with this map, I imagine. So this current black spot needs to be populated with buildings and with stuff. So new people coming to Decentraland do not have to encounter a dark wasteland. And if you actually go to the Etherea.io website, which I highly recommend you do, and you actually read through the original plans that they had, this project is supposed to be amazing, right? So I would highly suggest that you read through some of these pages. I think a lot of those are not relevant anymore. I think many things did not necessarily turn out the way they were planned. I think we're kind of a little bit behind the originally imagined timeline. Nevertheless, I think the idea of this project is still alive. And I think I think it's now on us, the community, to actually put together the initial foundation for this project. And they actually published a development plan, a white paper of sorts. I have linked all of these assets inside the video so you can check them out later. The plans were humongous. Like, there is detailed planning on how this whole thing is supposed to develop. But the thing is, we are now in 21, and I think a lot of that stuff has not been realized. Now, this started, if you check the dates, this started in early 2018, so literally 3 years ago. And let's just, if we scroll down here, I don't know if how far they have gotten, because this is, this. I mean, we do recognize some familiar names here. Here we have Q1 220. So we're supposed to have tournaments and immersive experiences like 1 year ago. It hasn't happened yet. So I think it's really important to understand that this project was supposed to be, I think, a pillar stone of Decentraland, and I'm really happy to see that people did not give up on it, that we now have this initiative to get us involved. And I think we have all shown that in the previous building competition that the community can actually over-deliver. The amount of submissions we had and what we made possible with that simple asset pack was amazing. And I think they actually do trust for us to build something, a strong foundation for this district. And they've put together some material here on how they imagine this to look. I think it's quite interesting to download this document and just have a quick scan through it in terms of what we are actually going to build on. So I've taken a couple of examples here, and I think this link was mentioned actually on the Etherea.io website, just to get an idea on how this genre looks like in terms of colors, in terms of style, in terms of feel. And I think this is I think it's a very difficult genre to build assets for custom made inside Blender, for example, right? I think this requires a lot of textures. This requires a lot of little dirty details, which are kind of difficult to achieve unless you're really, really good with Blender, for example. So we will probably not be able to deliver on that. But, we will try to do our best, I imagine. I mean, look at these used kind of materials, this metallic, rusty, industrial kind of looks. In order for this to look really, really good, we have to become much better with the Blender tool and not only work with the asset pack, or we have to expand on the actual asset packs and also on the original gallery asset pack. We need a lot of rusty, neon, dirty, used kind of walls and roof components and modules, which we currently do not have. So maybe this is like one feedback to the community. Maybe we can put together our own asset pack and share it amongst us, just to have more suitable materials for this competition. Unfortunately, we only have 28 days left. So if anyone out there is a great designer and can put together a small custom asset pack based on the gallery asset pack to better suit this particular genre, it would be amazing. Nevertheless, we will go through the new asset pack, and it does have some of these elements like we see here. We do have a motorbike, we have cars, we have some neon signs, we do have some walls with graffitis on them. So we are not completely empty-handed. We do have stuff to work with. So if you actually use Google and search for cyberpunk genre, you do get to see, what this district is supposed to look like. And man, I'm not quite sure. I'm curious. The last time I completely underestimated what the community can do, and I'm afraid to say anything at all because maybe people will be able to put that puzzle together in such a way that will totally surprise us. Also, here you will find ideas and images. So let's quickly check what else is next on our discussion list here. So we did look at the location, we looked at the project, we looked at the genre. And now let's have a look at the actual assets that are available to us. I know some of you have maybe already seen two of my videos from yesterday, but I do want to jump into this quickly one more time. And I actually found a location inside Decentraland, inside the district, where we have an interesting exposition of probably all of the items in the asset pack. And it's quite interesting how it is organized. There's even a naming convention to it. We were probably not supposed to see it, and maybe not sure about that. Maybe some of these items are actually not even published, but here you get to see all of the stuff that is now available in that new asset pack. And let's just quickly walk through and have a look. I mean, I've seen the bikes, I've seen these lamps. I haven't seen this item, for example. A lot of pipes, graffitis. This looks like an old car seat. Now, these are all platforms, elevator platforms. I haven't seen this particular map, but this one is actually cooler than the one that I have seen because it's digital. Some of these smaller items I haven't seen. I have seen the basketball game. All of these lamps, I'm not necessarily sure how they're supposed to work, but I've seen those. These they call manholes. So I imagine these are supposed to be these holes in the street where you could actually accidentally fall into. They do not have any smart functionality, so this is really just to enhance street design. I haven't seen this piano component at all, and the way things are organized here, it looks like people put some serious thought into how they put this asset pack together. Because yesterday we kind of speculated if some of that stuff was just very random, because these items don't seem to kind of fit into any single category, but it looks like this is all planned out properly, and there is some kind of thinking behind this. So again, these things, these little maps or board diagrams we have seen before. These little signs we haven't seen. Yeah, so we have seen the game console, some of the sushi bars, the posters. Yes, we have seen that map. All of these smaller items, I believe these are all sushi related items. We have just partly seen. Haven't seen these items here. I imagine these are building modules that should add to the gallery asset pack. Now what I'm missing here again are some kind of classical cyberpunk genre materials, right? Like wall modules with some kind of rusty pattern. I don't think we have seen that yet. Let's see. We have again a sushi asset here. I'm not sure what these are, these little triangles. Again, I sometimes do not actually realize what these components are, and then you see the builds of the community, and for other people this is completely straightforward and they don't know exactly what to do with these things. For me, some of these items are just bizarre, like this one, for example. Is this all still sushi kind of related, or not sure about? I mean, here we all have that. We have that sushi stuff. I had no idea that the Japanese sushi stuff is kind of considered to be cyberpunk related, but as I told you, I'm kind of new to this whole idea. Pipes. And here we have the larger items, and we've spoken about this yesterday, that this is really special about this asset pack, that we have these large items here as well. I mean, these are almost complete buildings. It's really interesting that they have included these. Now, I don't know if this, what we're looking at here, is actually a final selection, or if this is some kind of work in progress, because I haven't placed this here. This have been here in this district. I just stumbled across these by accident, and I'm not sure if all of these assets will be in the asset pack, but I kind of assume they will be. Now, this is kind of a cool ventilation item or something like that. Yeah, we've seen that huge entry door pipe. We've seen that yesterday. Some of these items, they are really big, so I think we've seen this one here. Now, I'm not sure about the colors here, what's going on with the colors. If this is supposed to be like that, it's kind of very bright. It doesn't look rusty or old. But yeah, so you are seeing the coordinates in the browser. You can, come here yourself and have a look at some of these assets, or you can just deploy them on your land using the asset pack. And you will find that asset pack here inside the builder, either under Cyberpunk. And the original asset pack that I was referring to is actually this gallery asset pack. Now, what's important to know here, and let me pull up that blog post. It's here. I like to show this blog post on our site because it just shows you what people made out of these modules here. If you scroll through these modules inside that gallery asset pack, it feels like they all look the same. And what can you actually build out of these, right? And this is how I felt initially, like, okay, so we can put together a couple of walls, we can put together a couple of transparent walls, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, once you start looking at the submissions by the people inside the scene pool, you're starting to see builds like this, and you're like, okay, maybe it's just me. So again, I have the same situation now where I think if people combine these assets that we have seen inside the original gallery asset pack, if they combine these with the new stuff that we have in the Cyberpunk asset pack, plus using all of these kind of strange and interesting smart items that are interactive, what's possible? I think maybe people will come up with amazing structures that kind of fit inside this kind of designs and into this kind of genre. And I think those among us who are actually designers and know how to use Blender might actually start mixing some of the prefabricated stuff with some custom-made object. So I'm looking forward to see what will actually happen. Let's see, what else? I think we have covered the assets. We have covered the gallery asset example as well. So now, what do you have to do if you want to participate in this competition, right? So we have about 28 days left. For that, you need, I'm not sure if you actually need, like, what the registration process is today with Decentraland. Originally, you could launch the builder without having an Ethereum address. You could just register with the builder, but I think today they have connected the builder with an Ethereum address. So you probably will need to have a MetaMask account in order to log in into Decentraland and therefore inside the builder. But I will leave that up to you. I think we are all somewhat, digitally savvy. You should be able to figure out how to log in into Decentraland and how to get access to this builder tool. And once you set up a new scene, I don't think we don't have any limitation on the scene size until today. So I would go maybe with a 2x2 or a 1x3 plot. Here, this one is, for example, a 1x3 plot. This is also the size of my build. You can probably go bigger. We will have to see on the Twitter account if Decentraland is going to reply confirming that there is no limits on the plot sizes. For now, I would have to assume that. You can check out my latest tweet and follow it, or you can ask your question by yourself. And then once you can actually start editing your scene using the asset packs that are available to us, or you can work inside Blender and export from Blender and then import that asset inside Decentraland. Check out my YouTube channel on how to exactly do that. There is a special section for the for real basics on how to export stuff from Blender, how to import things into Decentraland. But I think for the most part, most of us, we are going to use the assets that are available to us. And that means the Cyberpunk asset pack, maybe the voxel pack, maybe some of the elements from the older asset packs here, sci-fi or fantasy. I mean, these are very old asset packs, so you probably have to be very selective about what you're going to use. But most importantly, this new Cyberpunk asset pack, and put these things together into something that looks like that. And maybe you will eventually win the $2,500 or the $1,500 in mana. And this would be a great opportunity for you to start to maybe buy a land for yourself and just kick off your career inside Decentraland. Now, in one of the videos before, I told you that maybe I will be able to give you an idea on how to win this contest. But frankly speaking, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think this is going to be really tough. I'm hoping for a lot of creative people to surprise us as they did with this genre. Feel free to go to this link here on dcl.digital to have a look at these examples. I think you can use these to get some inspiration and enhance and build these out. These are great examples on how to use the gallery asset pack to build a foundational building for your scene, and then you can enhance it with cool items from the new asset pack. One thing I learned is that don't forget to think of each module as a item that you can expand in size and that you can drag left and right. You can that just because they look and have a specific shape inside the builder doesn't mean that you can adjust those and make those a lot wider. Most of the time you can, and a lot of people did that. They would take a piece of window and they would just stretch it across the whole scene, creating these kind of walls, which if you don't have that initial thought, you might be, just piling 15 different modules next to each other to build a glass wall, but you can actually stretch those items. So that's, I think, an important tip. And yeah, and then we will see. I mean, you will start seeing people publishing some of these builds inside the pool scene. Let's see if we can just quickly pull that up. So this is the pool scene here. Eventually people will start submitting their ideas. I think we already have one here. This could be actually the first submission. Yes, definitely. So this city block full of neon and color tells the story of everyday cyberpunk life, submitted by Ambrose. I've seen him a lot before. So this is a first idea on how this cyberpunk asset pack could be used. And I think he used a 3x3 plot here, if I'm not mistaken. Or is this a 2x2 plot? Hold on, this is a 16 parcel block. So this is a huge piece of land here, I realize. So he went with a 4x4. So obviously it seems like there are no limits, and Decentraland and the Etherea project are encouraging us to build large and occupy a lot of their land. And it's not a bad idea, I think. So here you go, guys. I mean, this is one example, and the question is, can you do better than that, right? I mean, it's going to be tough. This is an interesting build. I love what he made here with the little signs on that pre-built building. And there is some kind of scene here where you can play music. But I think if you put some effort, you can actually put together something competitive. And if you know how to use Blender, you might be even able to create something a little bit more colorful with the larger objects. In any case, I think this is it for the stream. I just wanted to cover this particular competition because I think this is just really important for Decentraland, that they start passing on some of these things to us, incentivizing us with a nice set of prizes, and essentially building a better experience for new people that are joining Decentraland, as we are kind of lagging a little bit behind the original plans. All right, guys, this was a short stream here on the builder contest coming up this month. I think I'm going to end it here. If you have any questions, you can comment on this video. I see we have one comment here inside the chat room that this was a good example. Yeah, man, like if you have any questions, type them in now, but we have very few people watching live right now. It was probably not the best timing to launch stream. In any case, you have the possibility to comment on the video later on, and I will try to respond. And otherwise, you also have all of the links we looked at inside the description. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like to stay up to date on what's going on in Decentraland. Hit the like button. Do follow me on Twitter. It's SwissDCL. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching the stream, guys. And for everyone watching this afterwards, have a nice day, guys. I see you. Bye-bye.